All right, I get it, Bolts fans. It's rough news. Hearing about Rashawn Slater, the left tackle, being out for the year. But I have good news for you despite that. I have good news that I want to talk about. There are signs that point up. No, it is not good, right? Like, we're not going to act like the team is going to be just as good without Slater as they would be with Slater. We're not going to act like that's going to be the case. But this is a team that has built themselves in a way that they are insulated for things like this. Many teams, this would be a death blow. Many teams only have one elite tackle. Many teams would struggle through this. The Chargers, I don't think will as much. So let's talk about how they're going to replace. Jim Harbaugh just went and talked about it today. Let's talk about how they are going to replace a guy like Rashawn Slater, or at least how they are going to try and make do without him. Then we are going to talk about good news that happened in practice today that shows that this is a team that is ready to embrace and have prepared to be successful on offense despite losing a top 5 left tackle in the NFL. I mean, that is what it is. And then we have some good injury news, finally, which is something they really, really need. Okay, so with that being said, let's look at this. We know he got a torn patellar tendon. We know that. We know he's going to miss 2025. So here's what Harbaugh said. Last year's first-round selection, let's get it nice and close for you, Joe Alt will move to left tackle. We all knew this would happen. While Trey Pipkins will move to right tackle. Alt played left tackle when he started at Notre Dame. He only moved positions due to Slater occupying the left tackle position. There are about 28 teams in the NFL that Joe Alt would be their starting left tackle for if he was drafted to. The Chargers just so happen to have Rashawn Slater. Joe Alt will move over to the left side and he will be just fine. All right, as that article just said, he only played left tackle in college. And I was looking at his recent snaps, his PFF grades in college at left tackle alone in his last 2 years, 2022 and 2023, when, by the way, he was 19, 20, and 21 years old during that time. He played 1,500 snaps with an offensive grade of 91.4 and 90.7, and over a 2-year span, 2 years, he gave up 1 sack. 1 sack. Over 2 years, he gave up 4 hits. The quarterback got touched 4 times. With Joe Alt protecting his blind side over 2 years. He, over 2 years, gave up 13 pressures. That means he gave up a pressure once every other game. That's insane. He is a better left tackle than he is a right tackle. And don't turn this off, I will make the argument that he has the ability to be a better left tackle than Rashawn Slater would have been this year. Now, Pipkins won't be as good of a right tackle. Pipkins, however, has played right tackle, and he has done it at a decent level. In fact, his highest grades on PFF have come from the right tackle position. He has proven to be a better tackle than he was a guard. So he will have an elite guard next to him now, all right? And he will be able to play at his best position, and it will not be on the blind side. So that's how the offensive line is going to shift. I understand it's not as exciting. I do. I understand it's not as exciting. However, Pipkin's pass blocking has traditionally been even better than his run blocking, and it'll be okay. Here's why I'm confident already that the offense will be okay. In the first practice without Slater, this is really kind of cool. Justin Herbert went off, okay? He had 3 touchdowns, all right, in the first practice. A day after they lose him, he had 3 touchdowns, and he was all over the place. By the way, those touchdowns came to Tyler Conklin. They went to Quentin Johnston and Keenan Allen. Pretty cool, right? They were 20, 10, and 15 yards. So it's not like they were close. It's not like they were close. You need to have protection in order to get that done. And it said Herbert was also on the money Friday, even when he wasn't throwing touchdowns. The offense looked fantastic. All right, I want to give you a little bit of an example of this. All right, we've told you on this channel we are Detroit Lions fans, but we followed Harbaugh to the West Coast. We've always enjoyed watching the Chargers growing up, so we thought it makes sense to make a Chargers channel. We are Lions fans. The Detroit Lions left tackle Taylor Decker has been out up until recently at training camp. So they have had backup tackles playing. All right, Dan Skipper, Giovanni Manu, like they've had a few different guys at which would be their swing tackle, which is like yours with Pipkins, right? That have been playing left tackle. Dan Campbell just had to institute what is called the Hutch rule because Aiden Hutchinson is getting so many sacks and the defense is so far ahead of the offense because nobody can guard him. So they needed to do a Hutch rule where even if he got through and pressure on the quarterback, the offense just kept going on the play. The Chargers didn't have to do that when they lost their left tackle. They simply moved their right tackle to left, and they are out of control good with it still. Herbert still is looking good. Now, will he get more pressures on him? Of course. But I will make the argument that the offensive line will still be similar to what it was last year with an addition of a new guard and hopefully better protection up the middle. So I will say I think the offensive line will still be equal to or better than it was last year. It just might not be elite, which you want it to be. Okay, that's the bad injury news. Here's the good injury news. All right, Ladd McConkey, who hasn't practiced since the 28th of July due to a leg injury, back on the practice field today, if you're watching it on Friday, as I'm recording this Friday evening, decked out in his full uniform and full pads. He is back. We don't know how much he's going to play in that practice. We know he didn't get one of the 3 touchdown catches, but it is a fantastic sign that he is back in full pads, helmet, all that kind of stuff, not just doing work on the side necessarily. Now, this article is written as he was going onto the practice field, so we'll see what happens. That is exciting news for the Chargers. Look, the sky is not falling. When you have a solid team like this that's deeper, this team is deeper than it was last year, you can withstand 1 or 2 big injuries. That's one. Now, as long as Herbert stays healthy, this team is a team that still has a chance. All right, thanks for watching. See you on the next one.